and it's time. It's time to consider the Galactic Legends in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes as a free-to-play player. So I was thinking last night, I want to do more Galaxy of Heroes videos, and I think, with all the spare time I've been given lately, I've been considering what am I going to do about Galactic Legends, right? So free-to-play player, that means I've not spent any money ever on the game. And so to give you an idea where my roster is, I'm about 4.7 GP. I do have gas. And kind of the standard meta teams you would see in probably the 4 point whatever it is and up brackets for GAC. So fairly standard roster. I'll link my SWGG in the thing below. But I am a collector, and that's sort of what I love about the game. I like collecting new characters, and so I think I'm ready to do a Galactic Legend. And so that said, right now they just released the Mando characters. I figured that they're going to be coming out for farming maybe the next 3 or 4 months, somewhere in that range. And I expect that this farm for Legend will probably push those back sometime, which is disappointing. I love the Mandalorian, I love the show, and I really like the new characters. So that's going to be the side effect of it. So making a decision, what do we do? What do we do to make a decision about where we want to go with these characters? So what I did is I put together a spreadsheet, and let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm dealing with here. So what I did is I put together a sheet, and I kind of wanted to figure out, like, how do I decide which character I'm going to go for. And I took the list for the First Order, I took the list for the Resistance, and I kind of did a ranking system. Let me turn my camera off here so you can see. And so what does this look like, right? So I took them and what is I ranked them. And so for my ranking, I just did 1, 2, or 3. 1 being an absolute garbage character. It's probably not going to be supported. Probably not going to be in any relevant meta team unless somebody finds some weird hacky side effect team that, does something special. A 2 being an average player, an average character that will have some utility, maybe show up in some teams, but in general, once released, won't really be revisited by CG. And then a 3 is a character that, for whatever reason, I deemed having a higher value than the average character, and moving forward, that will probably continue to be supported. Okay, and so with that said, on the First Order side, there were 2 people. Like, I don't think Veteran Smuggler Han or Captain Phasma, at least from what we've been told in the latest, talks from CG, they're not touching those characters. So to me, those are really kind of below average characters that really aren't going anywhere. I did see that Palpatine was on the list, and I think that being that he's the only version of Palpatine, we've got 2 Kylos, we got 2 Jedi Reys in this list to get a new Kylo and a new Rey, which is annoying. But Palpatine is that's his only version of it in the game in terms of being Emperor Palpatine, and with that being the case, I think that character will always be relevant. There's always been teams that kind of take advantage of his leadership, so I kind of gave him a bump up because I think he'll continue to be valuable as long as he's the only version of himself in the game. Boy, that's meta. Wow. And then I also kind of marked these guys down as if they're a pilot or not. And so for the First Order, there actually is 2 more pilots than on the Resistance side. And I've been working on, I guess, ships in general over the last couple months. So getting the benefit of a couple other, ships and a couple other pilots seemed like that would have some extra value. I did the same thing with the Resistance side, and for the most part, they were all 2s as well. Resistance pilot, again, like, I don't see him using any teams. I really don't perceive him getting any better. Holdo, I guess you could argue she should be a 2, being that she's a captain of a ship, but I don't know. It's fine for now. I mean, you can play with these numbers. I'll give her a 2, and it doesn't really change kind of the end result of where all this was going at the end of the day. And then Rose Tico, who I refuse to give any score to. It's a horrible character. The model's awful. The kit's awful. It doesn't do anything. Just garbage. Pure garbage. And then down here we've got Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca, which again I don't think they'll be doing it. One thing of note: so there's 2 less ships and capital ships on this side. So I kind of came up with the value of First Order versus that, and it's 30 versus 28, so it's close. I think the other part of it to me that was interesting, just looking at the game in general, is looking at the light side Geo TB, which obviously Rey is going to be super good there, and it's disappointing that that team is probably going to be key to moving forward in progression there. That said, they're going to have to add other stuff. That raid is ridiculously hard. One team is not going to solve the problem of obtaining stars, and so eventually, sooner or later, you'll probably end up with both Galactic Legends if you farm for them. But um, I don't like that I don't like the light side Geo. I think it's an awful implementation. I don't care what they say about it being long term and whatever. It's just not how you should build content. And I feel like going after a character just to solve that problem is a bad path to go on. While looking at Kylo, while I actually prefer Rey as a character, I think Kylo obviously has a lot more upside for me in terms of the characters he covers. And I think a lot of streamers have already talked about this stuff. I think there's been mounds and mounds of videos that talk about it. When you look at the characters that you have to work with Kylo, I mean, you could arguably end up with two strong, nice first order teams when this is all said and done. There's some weaker characters in here, some characters maybe that won't be long term, but there's some value in almost all of these characters. Where you look at Rey's list, um, and it just junks. I don't really see using Holdo. Maybe we're wrong there. Maybe there's some teams once everybody's kind of gone, and maybe she works well with Rey. Rose Tico is just terrible. Like I've never been. I mean, the Finn, they're all like okay, but like again, it just this list kind of at the bottom here really kind of kills it for me. And the expense. I mean, this Rey is expensive to get to even gear 13. So I kind of battled back and forth with this, and I think my decision is going to be with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. He can solo HSTR, which is super nice and beneficial. I'll get a bunch of cool new ships and beef up my fleets. I'll end up also adding in. You can see these guys right here are usually teams I would use for defense and GAC. So again, these guys will get the benefit of extra gear, and they'll be useful within a mode. Like Rose Tico and Haldo, they're not going to go into a team that's going to be beneficial. And I could probably, use the. You could look at these and just say, I'm going to make this a team and this a team, and it'll probably be okay. It'll probably be decent on defense in your back row where you usually have a weak team sitting around. And so I think for me, this is really the way to go. Not only that, a lot of my characters are already down the path. I've got these two at G12 already, and these guys are all 7 stars. So I really need to farm up Hux, who I'm already farming up because I wanted to ship the new Trooper, and this guy who I've ignored. But I think these are just farmed in one of the stores, so that's not even a hard farm. So all that said, I think this is the way I'm going to be going. And so I thought this video I would kind of let me put on my camera here again. So there we go. So, I think moving forward, the plan for me is I wanted to make videos to show people, if you're free to play, what's it look like. So in my head, I was thinking, wow, this is probably going to take me about 3 months to farm, which I think is way off. I think it's going to be closer to 5 or 6 months to farm. But we'll see. So I thought I'd make a video every couple weeks, kind of show you my progress. I created a spreadsheet to show my current status, so where all my characters are, G level or star level, and I started this yesterday, so I'll link this below as well, so you guys can check this out if you're super bored and want to know how someone else is farming characters. But if you are curious about the speed at which a typical player maybe who doesn't spend on the game and has some base set of characters, how long it's going to take. So in honor of our first video here, we will find Mr. Rin here, and we will go ahead and start this thing off. So here we go, Kylo Ren unmasked, and we will give him a nice little bookmark, and here we go. Alright, he's got a long ways to go, but there we go, our first relic character on the first order side. There'll be many more to come. As you can see, we've got a lot of work to do here, but I'll keep making these videos every couple weeks. I'll update that little sheet, and then if you're interested as a free-to-play player, maybe a low spender or someone who doesn't really go hardcore for the top spot in arena every day, what's it going to look like? How long is this really going to take? And maybe 3 months, 5 months, a year from now, we'll see the pain. And I think one of the things I do want to cover is like, what am I sacrificing to do this? What things am I foregoing? Because it's obviously we're going to miss out on the Mandalorian characters. At least they're going to be pushed back in farming, and these guys are going to require farming. Relic materials, which is going to be kind of a pain. How much of my relic materials am I going to use doing this? I've been playing since release, but I fully expect that we're going to chew through a whole bunch of my relic materials, and at some point maybe even hit a roadblock there. So anyways, that's what we're going to do today. On the First Order hype train, we're going to be going after Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. We'll be soloing some HSTR at the end of this thing. There'll be tears, there'll be bloodshed, there'll be fun, maybe. But we'll see where it all goes, and let's take it from there. So anyways, give me a subscribe if you're interested in kind of following the progression of this. Give me a thumbs up if you went for the First Order. Give me a thumbs up if you went after Rey because you think that's a better way to go. I'm curious how you guys decided which Galactic Legend you're going to go after. If you've decided, are you going to go after a Galactic Legend? If you aren't, why aren't you? And if you are, what are you sacrificing? What are your concerns? I'm curious to know what other players are thinking as they go through. This is the longest farm by far the game's put in front of us. And it's going to be arduous, and it's going to be tough on players in terms of mats and all the other things that go into it. So anyways, have a good day. We'll see you guys in the next video, and may the force be with you.